Greetings, YouTube. Greetings, gentlemen. Just keep in mind that once you make it into my Zoom, you've gotten your attendance credit for the day. So, the plan of action. Let me make sure some things. So the plan of action for today. Let me see. So I originally I wanted to keep moving forward, like I wanted to go into section 1.5, but I kind of needed to shift it up today. So what we're gonna do today? Give me just a moment. Uh, okay, let's go like this. Oh, we got another wave coming in. Let's go here, and I'm trying to like take attendance without saying students' name, just for privacy reasons. Because we are live streaming. Um, so that kind of like throws me for a loop. Give me a minute while I let these students in. All right. Okay. So what we're gonna do today? People just keep coming. It's all good. Give me just a moment. This guy. Yeah, and feel free. It sounds like someone unmuted themselves. Feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat if you have a question. But just give me a moment. So what I like to do today, instead of doing a lecture, I want to just kind of start working on some of the homework. So like if you've been making your way through the homework and you know you have specific homework questions, today is the day you definitely want to get some of those questions answered. If there aren't questions, what I'm going to do is just kind of start making my way through as many questions as I can. But it is ideal for you to I was stuck on this one. Can we look at this? And when you do have a question, the best practice is to on Pearson in the more help or whatever, you want to click on the Ask My Instructor. And what that'll do is send me an email with your question and it'll send me a screenshot of your specific question. And then I can load it and we can discuss it. I can load it and we can discuss it. Go ahead. Hmm. I had opened it like, yeah, I mean, honestly, a 10% is still an A, and you get unlimited attempts. And it's a very, very small part of your grade. Like, I don't want you guys to get too lax with the homework. Like it's a minimal weight. So like, if you get a 90 on it, you know, it's not going to affect your grade that much. But you don't want like a whole bunch of that stuff piling up, right? So you get unlimited attempts, and you can. It's only a 10% late penalty. So even if you submit it late, you can still get an A on that assignment if you want. And it wasn't due before it was assigned. You guys just was kind of slow about getting access. Like that's why I kind of encourage you guys to do like 2 weeks of temporary access off the rip. But a 10% late penalty on that one is on those few assignments or whatever that is, it's not gonna affect your grade like that. The main thing, the real thing of the homework is for you to be practicing so that the bulk of your weight comes from honestly the exams. Like the homework is there for you to practice so that when the exam comes around, you'll be like, oh, this is like the same thing. Let me just do what I did in the homework. But getting a 90 on that one homework assignment is like is very very small weight. It's not a huge thing. Now, if it was an exam, that I might consider it a little bit differently, but you know, and it wasn't. I posted it early. It's just that whenever you got access, but it was available from the rip. So that's kind of. But again, I don't want you to stress about that. The main thing of the homework is for you to be practicing, if that makes any sense. And if you want to like press it further, we can, but that's like a waste of energy in my opinion on both ends. The main thing is just to practice, do your best, and just honestly, as long as you do really well on the exams, you'll be fine. And the exams are very similar to the homework. Um, Not 100% exactly the same, but very similar. Baker. See, that's what I was trying not to do. That's okay. Let me check the chat real quick. I think these guys are good. Okay. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Oh, you can't hear me? Let's see. That's working. Can anybody else hear me? You should be able to hear me. Let me try again. Let's go. Okay, so maybe you guys can't hear me. Let me do like this. Input. Because that's showing there. That's showing there. Yeah. I'm not really sure what to tell you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, because like all my stuff is showing the audio. It might be, yeah, yeah. Yeah, once you get attendance, you're not obligated to stay. Again, my intent for today is to go through as many of your homework assignment questions as I can, and you can honestly follow along. But what you'll notice is that you'll have the same you'll have the same questions with different numbers, right? So let's just kind of get started. Let me see what the stream is looking like. So I need to hop to like here. So let's hop over here. Yeah, I think this is good. I'm gonna let it ride like this. Okay. So I still haven't quite figured out like because they kind of changed their formatting. So I'm trying to see if there's a way I can like suppress certain things, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's see. So we'll just start with number one again. Once you get attendance credit, you're not obligated to stay. And again, I'm just going to do my best to go through as many questions as I can. If you want me to look at a specific question, just get my attention. Say, hey, can we look at this question? And if you want your question specifically, like with your numbers, you have to click on right here where it says get more help. You want to click on the ask my. That'll send me a screenshot of your specific question to my email. I'll pull it up and we'll talk about it. So this one asks us to plot these points. Let me see. Let the student in. I feel I'm kind of excited about my little attendance thing because before it used to take up so much time, but I kind of worked out some kinks, so it's a lot more smooth than it's a lot more smooth than it used to be. Okay, so plotting points here, right? So let me see. For instance, part A asks us to plot negative 4, 4, right? So remember, this is an ordered pair. The first number in this ordered pair is your x value. So if you start at the origin, it says go left 4 and then up 4, right? So if we go left 4 then up 4, which quadrant are we in, right? So should it be 8? And you can just quickly look. And the only one that's in the correct quadrant, which should be if upper right is quadrant 1, upper left is quadrant 2, bottom left is quadrant 3, bottom right is quadrant 4. The correct quadrant in this case should be quadrant 2, and that's going to be B, right? Let me go ahead and submit this one. And I think we had some chat activity. So I kind of want to check the chat like this. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, once you get into my Zoom, you've gotten your attendance credit, right? Let me see. I'm just gonna say yes because I don't think you can hear me. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna stress about that. Let's keep it moving. Okay, let's go to the next one. So these first couple of ones, this is again that's quadrant 2. So the quadrants start in the upper right hand corner. The upper right is 1, upper left is 2, bottom left is 3, bottom right is 4. Choose the graph that correctly plots this point. Okay. Let's see. So we don't move left to right because the x value is 0. Then we go down 2. So that keeps us on the y-axis. The only one that just went down 2 is B. All right. So I'm going to just go with that. On to the next one. All right. So I do notice a lot of guys leaving. Again, it's totally okay. I do want to kind of give you another heads up. This stuff it starts off very, very light and very simple. And then one day you come in and you're like, wait, what's going on? My recommendation is to just be in attendance in class. That's the simple thing. That's the best thing. But you're not obligated. Like it's totally okay. Which coordinate it lies on the y-axis? I just don't want where you guys, because generally what happens is students get lulled into a false sense of security, and like then they're like, oh, this is easy, easy, and then next thing you know, they're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh crap. And I do my best to try to minimize that thing, and just be in attendance. It's only 50 minutes. We only got like right at about 30 minutes remaining. And hopefully you guys are making your way through your homework. This is like week 3, I think. I think we're officially in week 3. I want to say that exam 1 should be next week. I need to go ahead and make your quizzes available. I'll probably do that by the end of the day. Just try to go ahead and get all your quizzes for the semester up. If this is week 3, which I think it is, let me see if I can see this thing. We started, let me see, that was week 1. Yeah, this is the beginning of week 3. So exam 1, we need to be ready by next Wednesday, right? So that's part of the reason why I'm going through this homework, because it's a good chance you'll see this stuff again. 19. Okay, let's jump to question number 19. There was a request for question 19. Can I see my questions? Yeah, let's go to question number 19. Let's bring you back. So yeah, that's fine. I think he got attendance credit already. Yep. Let me let him in. All right. Find the center and the radius of the circle. Okay. So let me actually screenshot this, and we're going to hop over to the tablet. Okay. And this is question number 19. I'm going to get just the pertinent information, which is this stuff here. Okay. And then what I want to do, come on. I want to share. And I want to drop this onto my tablet. There it is, this one. Since it's an image, hopefully it's there. Let me see if it's here. Photo library. Nope. Let's search for an older. Oh, it was there. What happened? Let's try this again. Share, airdrop. I might just write it. I'd like to have the screenshot. Share. Add to photos. Will that work? I don't think that's gonna work. So I gotta set up. Come on. I don't understand why it's not showing because it was there like a second ago. Let me see if it's in my photo library. Newer Max. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I'm gonna give that a moment to load. I think I saw some more activity in the chat. I've been struggling with week 2 homework. Is this question number 19? Is this from week 1 or is this from week 2? The best thing is here it is. Use the Ask My Instructor and it'll come to my email and that'll be easier for me to pull it up on my tablet. Okay, this thing finally loaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one from week 1. But if it's from week 2, just let me know. Okay, give me just a moment. That looks good. Okay, so let's hop over to the tablet. Come on, go away. Done. Okay. So what I need to do is like this is there. At least I think so. Okay, that's it. Okay. So taking a look at this question. This is question number 19 from week 1, section 1.1 graphs. And we're asked to find the center and the radius of the circle, right? So we talked about, I like to write on paper. Let's go some graph paper. So we a good place to start with something like this is the standard form of the equation of a circle, which is going to be basically, come on. Is this lagging? This is lagging. Give me just a second. I got to reboot it. That's technology, boy, I tell you. Come on. Did you reboot? Yeah, there you go. This one. Okay. I'm going to have to not worry about that for right now. I think we're past the 15-minute mark, or we're pretty much there. Let me load this photo back. And okay. Okay, and paper. All right. So find the center and the radius, right? So you have the standard form of the equation of a circle, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, right? Where the center of your circle is going to be h comma k. You just got to get it in the proper form. And then the radius is going to be your r, okay? So we want to transform the given equation, which is this x squared plus y squared minus 10x plus 6y plus 25 equal to 0, right? We want to transform this into the blue formula that you see towards the top of the screen, right? So we're going to do this. The technique we're going to use completing the square. The first thing we want to do is rearrange. Like we want to basically like, it's not officially group like terms, but I'm going to say rearrange the terms. So rearrange the terms, right? So the x terms, I'm going to do x in, I don't know, I need a color. We'll do x in purple. So we'll group the x terms together, right? We're going to put those side by side. For y, I usually like to use yellow, but yellow's kind of hard to see. Oh, I don't think they've gotten credit today. Ugh, I knew that was going to happen. Okay. Give me a moment, guys, because my window got closed. He might have to wait. Like this. This. I think I need like another device. I need like almost 2 or 3 other devices for this to be a little bit more smooth. Part of it is like the processors get like overrun because I'm running too many things on like too few devices. So it causes it to be a little laggy and unreliable, but that's okay. I'll figure that out one day. Right now, we kind of got to work with what we got. Come on. And then here, and attendance, and this guy. Okay. All right. So we're back. Let me put this back so we can see it. I'm going to let him in, and we're back. Oh, right here. Come on. Okay. Let me make sure it's showing here. Okay. So first we want to rearrange the terms, right? We want to get the x terms side by side and the y terms, right? So we want to put this x squared minus 10x. We're just basically using the commutative property of addition. We can move things around. I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and then I'm going to write my y terms. I don't know why I said that sentence so loud. Very awkward, but that's okay. I embrace my awkwardness. And the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move that 25 to the right side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 25 on both sides. So this is going to be equal to negative 25. Again, I did that by, I said minus 25 and minus 25, right? Okay. These add to 0. Okay. So the next technique we're going to use is called completing the square. We want to use completing the square. Right? So we do that by, I guess we can just use blue. So the first, we're going to say what? B over 2 squared, right? So the B for the purples is going to be the negative 10. So we're doing, basically, we're saying B over 2 quantity squared. And what we're doing once, we got to do it on both sides. B over 2 squared. I think that's right. Yeah. So then what we're really doing is negative 10 divided by 2 squared. We're adding that on both sides, which is, I'm going to get rid of this just to have less notes going on. I'm doing plus negative 10 over 2 squared, right? Similar here, the b in this case is the 6, so we're saying 6 over 2 quantity squared. We're adding that to both sides. 6 over 2 squared, okay? So then negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. So we're really adding 25 here. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So that technique that I just implemented, again, that's called completing the square. So what we're doing is we're essentially doing completing the square twice. If this is like 2 foreign, which it should be, I mean, it's actually not supposed to be foreign, but this concept often is foreign for students in college algebra because it is a little bit, random. This is where your lab will kind of start to fill this kind of stuff in. Also, in our handout section, I have an entire chapter devoted to all the factoring scenarios that you'll come across. So if you're uncomfortable with factoring, you definitely want to make your way through that chapter. Sit down with the tutor and just kind of work some of those questions. I even have one sheet that summarizes how to approach your factoring questions. There's about 3 main categories when you're factoring. This is completing a square. So this is like that middle category of factoring trinomials. But again, if you're uncomfortable with factoring, On our Blackboard page in the handout section, I have an entire chapter devoted to factoring. I would make my way through that chapter with the tutors, right? Let's keep moving. Let's kind of close this one out. Let's try to wrap it up. So if we focus on the first three, right? The x squared minus 10x plus 25, we want to see, can we factor that into something like this, right? Can we factor that trinomial? So we have x and x. This plus here, let's change that color. This plus means the two signs are going to be the same. This tells us that the larger number is negative, right? So we know the two signs are the same because of the first thing, or this plus over here, and then this one on the left tells us that the larger number is negative. So that means that both the signs should be negative, right? That's another factoring a trinomial concept. So then we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us positive 25 and add to give us negative 10, right? You should be able to see those numbers now. So hopefully you got negative 5 and negative 5. Notice that negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10, right? So that's that part. And then for the second part, it's the same thing. It's very similar. We want to factor that trinomial. Let me give myself some space. I just want to move this stuff down. So, well, I guess it's a little bit further out. I'm gonna just mention this for right now. This is a random thing for Atlanta. Like, if you ever want something free to do on the second Sunday of every month, the second Sunday of every month, did he get attendance? I think he did, but let me just check. The second Sunday of every month is actually free admission at the High. He did not. Okay, I'll give him a credit. It's fine. Is a free admission at the High Museum of Arts, right? So, that's the second Sunday. So I think this Sunday might be the first Sunday, so the Sunday after that. If you just wanted something free to do and just look at some art, you can get free access to the High. If the place is open, across the street from the High is this place called the Museum of Design and Art. I think that's what it's called, MODA, M-O-D-A. That one also, it's much smaller, but it's free admission on that day as well. So back to this trinomial, right? So we want to factor, let's see, we get y and y. Again, if we apply the same technique, this second plus tells us the two signs are the same. This first one tells us that the larger number is positive. So we have the two signs should be the same and the larger number should be positive. So then they should both be plus and plus, plus and plus. Two numbers that multiply to give us 9 and add to give us 6. You should be able to see those numbers, right? So we're talking 3 and 3, right? And then on the right-hand side, I think instead of finishing with negative 25, we finish with 9. Because the 25s cancel, we finish with 9 there, right? So then with this, we can finish with x minus 5 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals 3 squared, right? So that's completing the square. And we actually did it twice. So, and I can see where that one would give, like if I was a new student, that would be intimidating to me too, right? So this is why I encourage the linking up with the tutors, working together for stuff like this. Let me make sure the student got attendance credit, because I know sometimes people get knocked off. Yeah. All right. Cool beans. I'm gonna let them in. All right. So yeah, I can see where that one can be a little bit intimidating, right? So now that we successfully did completing the square, and now we got the general form of the equation of the circle into the standard form, right? So then from here we can clearly see. Now we should rewrite this so that it is x minus h and y minus k. So we need to put it in the proper form. So let's put it in the proper form so we can see what we need to see, right? So the first one's already in the proper form, right? We have x minus, it's already in x minus h, but the second one we need to rewrite, right? The second term or expression, we need to rewrite it as y minus negative 3 quantity squared, right? And then I think the right-hand side is fine. So now in this form, now it's clear to see that let's write it like this, h comma k, right, is going to be equal to The h is going to be 5. The k is now going to be -3. So that's the center of the circle. And then the radius should be 3, right? So this is what we got. Now we can put this in a graphing calculator. I'm just trying to think of ways. You can like, it's a little bit of a challenge. I'm just going to go with this and use Pearson to check this, right? All right, so we got 5, -3 and a radius of 3. So what I'd like to do, I want to hop back to Pearson, which is here. I mean to Safari, and actually let me. Oh no, cancel. Oh, did we lose our question? Oh, that sucks. I think we did lose our question, so now we have to reload it, and it's going to be different. That sucks. So now we can't check it, but we got the experience, you know, of seeing it. I might have to do a different one, and I might do it a little bit quicker. Yeah, I don't know. It just knocks you off sometimes. Now another thing I could do, I might be able to just cycle through until I get back. Sometimes you can cycle through the questions and get back to the same question. Let me see if I can do that. Minus, is there a way to just quickly? Ugh, okay. Just for the sake of, let me see the time. I don't really want to eat up a lot of time doing that again. So I'm just gonna have to go with the result that we got. I'll go ahead and do it again, because what I'll do instead of screenshotting and doing all that, I'm just gonna write it. So I'm just gonna say this is question number 19, alternative, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and write a copy. X squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 2y plus 1 equals 0. And let's hop back here and go like this and make sure it's showing. Actually, this needs to be, I think it's like, is it like this? I think that did it. And then let's hop back here. Let me see if I hit like this. Cool, that's still showing there, and that's showing there. Cool. Okay. So this is the one that just showed up. Let's see if we can quickly do it. I'm gonna kind of abandon the colors right now and just redo the same thing. So we got x squared minus 6x. I'm gonna leave some space. We have this plus y squared plus 2y. I'm gonna leave some space, and on the right we're gonna have equals -1, right? Kind of repeating the processes. If I do completing the square, we're gonna have -6/2 squared. We're adding that to both sides. Plus, and let's be a little bit more consistent, -6/2 squared. That's the completing the square step. And then here, we're also going to do 2/2 squared, added to both sides. 2/2 squared, okay? So then if we account for those changes, -6 divided by 2 is 3, -3, -3 squared is a +9, +9. I think this is +1 and +1, so these guys are going to cancel. So then if we focus on the first 3, they factor. I'm going to actually just jump straight here. X minus 3 plus this one, y plus 1 squared, and then on the right we get 3 squared. So then the h comma k should be 3 comma -1. Notice I'm changing that sign for the same reason as before, and then the radius should be 3. Let's try this one. That was a faster version of the same thing, but you know, I did the same thing. I just didn't show all the details like I did in the first time. So let's try this. Let's see. Hopefully it still works. 3, -1, and 3. And like, let's do, I think it's this one, so that the people at home on YouTube can see it. There it is. Okay. So the center that we got here was 3, -1. I'm gonna do parentheses, 3 comma -1, and enter. God is good. And then the radius is 3. Okay. Let me check. So that was a little, you know, we had to go back and redo it because I don't know, for whatever reason we got bumped off. So that happens sometimes. Let me check the chat because I see some activity there. You lost me at b/2. Yeah, the b is the 6. So that's completing the square, right? Let me kind of hop back over to the tablet. So that's here and like this. I think that'll do good for them. Okay. So the B, right? Let's go back to the first one. So completing the square is where you see the orange and the purple. I mean, the purple, blue, and orange and all that, right? So the completing the square, the B is like for the purple, the B is going to be your -10. For the orange, the B is going to be your 6, right? So the -10, that's where that came from, and this is where that came from, right? And so that B over 2 squared, that's completing the square. B over 2 squared. So you have two terms, and maybe if you do so, like one of the properties in math, you can add the same thing to both sides of the equal sign and preserve equality. So we added that B over 2 squared, we added it to both sides and preserve the equality. Okay, if there aren't specific questions, I'm just going to kind of make my way through as many questions as I can. Let's hop back over to Pearson's. Okay, so we did that one. Let me go back. I guess since we're almost to the end, I guess these might be a little bit more interesting. Answer the following questions. Find the center and radius of the circle. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna write it down like I did the one I just did. This is similar. This is question number 20, and it comes here. Yeah, this is question number 20, and this comes from section 1.1, question 59. Find the center and the radius. Okay, so part A, we're asked to find the center and the radius. And in part B, we're asked to find the x and y intercepts. I'm going to say find the x and y intercepts. Okay. And we're given that 4x squared plus 4y squared plus 40y equals 0, right? So I just went on and made a copy. Let's hop over to the tablet, which is like this. I just want to check and make sure that people at home can see it. Cool. Yeah, I would need like another processor where that would run OBS only, and then all these other things that I'm doing, I would feed into that processor. I gotta figure. I would just need another device or two. Anyway, so this is the question. This is number 20. We got about a little over 10 minutes remaining in class. Okay, so we're essentially going to do the same thing, right? So this is like an equation of a circle in general form, the general form of the equation of a circle. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to rewrite this into the standard form, right? Okay, so we only have the one x term. So, you can look at this as 4x squared. You can almost do like plus 0x, right? So now if you do your b over 2 squared, you're adding 0, right? So that one, we don't really need to, I'm not going to do that because I feel like it's going to make it more complicated, but we can leave that one as is. But we can do completing the square on that second set. So if we consider the 4y squared plus 40y, and we do completing the square, so in this case, again, our b is going to be, can you guess what our b is? Our b is going to be 40. So we're going to say 40 over 2 squared. We're going to add that to both sides. Again, over here, we're adding 40 over 2 squared, right? So then if we account for those changes, 40 divided by 2 is 20. 20 squared is 400. So we're adding 400 to both sides of the equal sign. So if we add 400 over here, plus 400. Okay? So the first one, I just want you to see that it's already in the form that we need. It's in the form of, oh, you know what? No, actually, we need to back up. I just thought of something. Before you do completing the square, the first step in completing the square is that your leading coefficient needs to be a 1. Right? So we need to account for those leading coefficients. Fortunately, all our leading coefficients are the same, so I think we can take advantage of that. But yeah, the first step whenever you're doing completing the square is the leading coefficient has to be a 1. So you have to like do some division. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and divide everything by 4, right? Because that'll make those leading coefficients a 1. So I'm basically going to divide the left and right by 4. So I'm going to say basically this divided by 4, everything divided by 4, right? And if we do this, then the result is going to be, I think this is okay. I think I'm doing it right. We're just going to go with it for now. and if it's not right, we'll fix it, you know. But so we'll get x squared plus, now we get y squared plus 10y. I'm going to leave some space equals 0. So now if we do completeness squared, it's going to be 10 over 2 squared that we're adding to both sides. Okay. So again, the first step in completeness squared is that leading coefficient definitely needs to be a 1. So then 10 divided by 2 is 5, squared is 25. So we're really adding 25 to both sides. Okay. So now that first term, we can just bring it down. Now if we focus on those last 3 terms, we want to factor it into something of this form, basically redoing what we did before. And that's actually going to be this. All right. So then we're going to get a y plus, I think it's 5. Because 5 times 5 is 25. 5 plus 5 is 10, right? Let's do one more thing just to put it in the proper form. I just want you to be aware that this first one is x minus 0 squared. The second one we're going to rewrite as y minus negative 5 squared. And then we have r squared, right? So our h comma k ends up being 0 comma negative 5. Again, this is just for completeness square. Just is not the right connotation, but that's what we're doing is completeness square, because I don't think you can, it's not that simple. It's only simple is relative. Like if you know it, it can be simple, but we're here because we don't know, so that's why just is not really the proper connotation, because I don't expect you to have mastered this at this stage. Okay, so let's go with this. We actually asked to find the x and y intercepts as well, so that's part A. So then let's see. So I'm just going to kind of, for part B, again, we finished at the point we got x squared plus, we have y plus 5 quantity squared equals 25. So when I'm finding x and y intercept, I generally like to start with the y-intercept first, right? Y-intercept. It might be a little bit different in this case, but generally speaking, finding the y-intercept is oftentimes easier than finding the x-intercept. To find the y-intercept, what do? We set x equal to 0. All right, I'm checking the time. I don't want to keep you for about maybe another six full minutes. I don't want to go past like 9:45, right? Because I want to give you time to do what you need to do. So the y-intercept, if we set x equal to 0 and solve, we're going to get 0 squared plus, we got y plus 5 squared equals 25. So then this is essentially y plus 5 squared equals 25. How do we get rid of that squared? We take the square root on both sides, right? And whenever we introduce square root, we have to introduce another symbol. Can you guess what that symbol is whenever we take square root? We have to introduce plus or minus. Okay. On the left, the square root cancels the squared term. So on the left, we're left with, that was a sentence. On the left, we're left with y plus 5. On the right, we get plus or minus 5, right? So then if we subtract 5 from both sides, right, we're almost there for at least the y-intercept. Y is going to be equal to negative 5 plus or minus 5, right? So we get a couple of results. Y equals negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So this is where it crosses the y-axis at negative 10 and 0. That's the y-intercept. So then if we want to find the x-intercept, what do? We set, if the y-intercept we set x to 0, then the x-intercept we set y to 0, right? And again, I'm grateful that this is being recorded in live stream. That makes me more comfortable to just talk in my natural rhythm, because I know in class it can be overwhelming and like it can be intense, right? But here, if it's overwhelming and intense, you just step away for a minute and then pick it back up, and you can sit down with the tutors, you can sit down with your classmates, and like you can go through this together. If somebody's getting it, I encourage you to like help your classmates, because it actually helps you. That's honestly how I learned this stuff, is by helping my classmates, and I just never stopped helping people. I still got to figure out how to help myself, which I'm actively working on. But once I started helping people, I never stopped. I mean, I get paid to help people to a degree. Okay, So we're going to set y to 0. So we need a copy. Let's get a copy of this guy. And then this is much more comfortable for me because, like, I'm not dealing with chalk, you know. I feel like this is just kind of relieve some of the pressure for everybody. So now if we set y to 0 and solve, we're going to have x squared plus, we're going to have this 0 plus 5 quantity squared equals 25. So that's going to be x squared plus 25 equals 25. Subtract 25 from both sides. So then on the left, the thing that's left is x. On the right, the thing that's left is 0. X squared, you take the square root. Even if you introduce plus or minus here, you only get one result. All right. So again, this square root cancels the squared. On the left, we're left with x. On the right, we get x equals 0 as far as the x-intercept. Let me think about this. Yes, this is totally possible. Okay, so we got our x-intercept. So we got an x-intercept, and we got x equals 0, and for y, we got -10 and 0. Right, so this is our x and y intercepts, and they might want it in the they might want it in an ordered pair, but these are the results, and then we just need to put it in the whatever form they ask. Okay, so for part A, we got 0, -5 was the center. This makes sense. Okay, so let's hop back over to Pearson and let's submit these results. Let's see the time. We might have time for one more, and then if we get this to work. What's the center? The center we got was 0, -5. 0, -5. I'm gonna hit enter. Notice the instructions say type in an ordered pair. What's the radius? I think the radius that we got was 5. Okay, so I'm gonna just hit 5, enter. Okay. What are the x-intercepts? Let's see, the x-intercepts that we got 0. It says type in ordered pair, right? So even though we put x equals 0, it says to put it in the form of an ordered pair. So that's going to be the origin. Okay, we only got the 1. And then the y-intercepts, again, we need to convert those to ordered pairs. So 0, -10, and the origin. 0, -10, and then comma, parentheses, the origin. Hit enter. God is good. Okay. I think, was that the last one or no? That was the last one. Let me go ahead and do 18, and then that'll be it for the day, or at least for this session. I'll probably continue doing something similar with my students later in the day, and I usually live stream those. Again, all these streams are found on my YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Shameless plug, you know. Go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications for this class. And once you're out of my class, if you don't want to be subscribed anymore, you're more than welcome to just turn off your notifications. You have to stay subscribed forever, though. You don't have a choice. Oh, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me, you know. And then also in the future, you might need some tutoring. I don't know. I guess if you want to unsubscribe from mine, that means you don't like my services. But you know, as long as you have access to my YouTube, I don't mind free tutoring. Like I'm not at that stage where this is my breadwinner. I'll get there one day, but this is just day one, you know, or day whatever it is. Anyway, let's look at this one. Find the equation of a circle with the diameter. These are the diameter. Okay, those are the endpoints of the diameter. This one we can do this one. Okay, this is question number 18. This comes from section 1.1, question 55, right? So that 1.155, that's called the question ID. That tells you where in the book it's coming from. It says, find a circle. I'm going to say find the circle whose diameter endpoints, this is it for today, are, we got 5, 3 and 3, 5. That's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna hop over to the tablet. I'm gonna assume that it's working there. I'm watching the clock. This will be it. We're pretty much where I'd like to stop. Find a circle whose diameter. So again, we have if these are the endpoints of the diameter, then it's a good idea to just find the midpoint, halfway mark between these 2 points, right? So let's actually start with the midpoint formula. The way I remember the midpoint are the average of the x's, that's not an x, average of the x's, comma, average of your y's, right? That's how I remember midpoint, okay? I'm going to go ahead and label these as x1, y1, x2, y2. So then when we go to find this midpoint, we're going to say what? 5 plus 3 divided by 2, and I think the second one is 3 plus 5 divided by 2. Is that right? That looks okay. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I think that's 4 comma 4. All right, so that's the center of the circle. So this tells us that our h comma k should be 4 comma 4. Only other thing that we need is the radius. So if we want the radius, if we have the center of the circle and we have a point on the circle, then if we want the radius, we just want the distance between those, right? So let's use the distance formula. Distance between 2 points, I'm going to just call them P and Q, is going to be the square root. It's x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared, okay? This is not the only way to go about it. I'm just showing, we're just kind of rehashing some concepts that we talked about before. Okay. Let me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring down this 5 comma 3. That's going to be my second point. And I'm going to just label like I did before, right? I'm just, because I want to find the distance between these 2 points. I'm going to go x1, y1. I'm going to go x2, y2. And I'm going to use these guys. Okay, this is fine. So then if we keep going, we're almost done. I'm about to let you guys go. x2 is going to be 5 minus 4 quantity squared. Plus y2 is 3 minus 4 quantity squared, okay? We crunch that number. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Squared is positive 1. So then it looks like that distance is going to be the square root of 2. So then the center, again, our h comma k that we got a 4 comma 4, and we got a radius of square root of 2. Okay, I'm going to try this in Pearson. You know, we don't have the luxury of checking something like this. Whenever possible, we want to check. And if we can't check, then we just have to kind of take our time and be meticulous. Let's hop back over to Pearson. Okay. Okay. So if this is the center, I know I'm not showing it I can go ahead and show it. So one other thing, let's put this into the standard form, right? We got our h and our k. And so let's use the standard form of the equation of the circle, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So then if we plug these components in, this is going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals square root of 2 squared, which is, I'm going to copy and paste. I feel like that might be a little bit faster. Copy, paste. And square root of 2 squared is just going to be 2, right? So this should be the result that they're looking for. So that was an application of several concepts that we've talked about. You know, that's generally what happens. And the only way you really get comfortable with this is just through repetition. Let me see, it's showing there. X minus 4, so it has to be either B or C. I think it's C, right? C is the one that matches ours exactly. I'm gonna submit this one, and awesome sauce. God is good. Okay. Do we have any survivors? Wow, we got a good amount of people. Man, yeah, y'all keep that kind of stuff up. I'll take care of you as best I can. I'm gonna do whatever I can for you. You know, but you got to meet me halfway. I feel like some of the things I can do to kind of take care of you guys, continue making assignments, unlimited attempts, minimal late points. You know, for submitting things. Yeah, I know it's an adventure. It's an adventure. It's no joke. So I have certain things in place to try to encourage you. Go ahead. Go ahead. So this is week 3. Like, basically, you have assignments due on a weekly basis, starting right like at the start of this class, Mondays at 9 a.m. So last week's materials were due today. So you can still submit it late with only a 10% late penalty. I do still need to create quizzes for you guys, like all your quizzes. And I'll give you time to do those. Also, you want to kind of for exam one, which is next week, from Wednesday to Sunday, that's going to only cover sections 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3, right? So for exam one, paper, and again, all these notes that you saw me writing, I'm going to make them. Let me go ahead and share them. I'm going to make them available on Box. Let me just do this real quick. If you guys don't have any further questions, I don't really want to keep you. I'm going to go ahead and make it available on our Blackboard. The exam one are the first 3 sections. This is fall of 2021. Give me just a moment. College Algebra, not the Dropbox. I'm going to put this in the answered homework questions, and we're going to submit it there. Yeah. Send to Box. Okay, so what I'm doing as we speak is all the stuff that you saw me writing, I'm making it available on our Blackboard page, right? So if you go to Blackboard, this is for this class. Other classes won't be able to access this. Nope, that's not true. I think everybody can access this. Yeah, it's just how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So if you go to Blackboard, you go to, there's a folder that says Box Link, and that's where you can pull up all the stuff you saw me writing. Any other burning questions before I let you guys go? The chat looks good. Okay, if there aren't any burning questions, we are officially at that time. I don't want to keep you any longer. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care, guys. I'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.